I was a rebel, proper rebel, not like him.
His sense of humor would leave one cracking with lingering laughter. President Michael Sata often cracked jokes regardless of where he was.
And he said, Mike, I'm growing old. I have to retire from accountancy. I'm going to buy a farm. I just looked at him. And then because he was living in Kavulonga Road, he had a beautiful house. And then he found this place. I don't know whether he used corruption or what. This place was too big. He brought me here. The first thing he did here, without building a house or a toilet, was to put an airstrip. Because one thing which I had forgotten to tell you, this man who is here is the first person who taught me to lift an aeroplane and bring it down.
He was a hilarious character in many spheres. Political rallies were no exception.
Imwe bwana muoneka mulina mimba na pamaso muoneka ni muwakongola kuma ni muoipa ngako muipa munga imva manje wanani bana baba Yesu anakambati osanilira neo musirire mweka ndi bana bana kodi aba bana ngati mwabayangana aba bana baonekapo baoneka bonga munga ni bana bamasi Zambia iwoneka bose bantu ni bana bamasi basikana abana bambokala nkalamu nzapeza abantu kumitu apita akakula sisi ku market siwaziwana amene anali mwine wasisiyo akuti wiki order.
Parliament was never spared.
And I'm very, Honorable Mr. Speaker, I'm very pleased. There are 3 ladies representing Madam Vera Chiluba because she used to come here with big dukes. In Zimbabwe, those who understand Shona like Dr. Piri, there is a Mr. Piri who is deputy minister. Se chapinda msiso chakaipa, chapinda munumbu chakanaka. And when you go to Namwala, they say Mala Zuma, Wata Zuma, Walia Mankomona. We used to enjoy in this house with some Mzungu MP, because every time when we disappeared, we were smoking outside.
The comedians in Zambia admired President Sata's natural ability to crack jokes.
He had the talent of a comedian because when the president used to have rallies, let's say in Mandevu, it was easy for him to connect himself with the people of Mandevu.
Each meeting that he addressed, there should be some comedy. And there's one that I like, which runs on radio through and through. When he was talking about the wage freeze, the one he says, I've said there's no wage freeze. If you talk about wage freeze, Mr. Shamenda, we shall freeze you. And I always tell my wife the same, that I will freeze her if she talks about there's no relish in the house. When there's beans, she wants sausage.
Was a comedian, was very hilarious. He would say things that you wish you could say as a comedian. Like you start thinking, how did he come up with that? I wish I thought on those lines. Yeah, and to know that is no more is very saddening for our fraternity as comedians.
A lot of encounters with the big man, and one funny one was
I was doing a wedding somewhere. It should have been for his nephew. And then after I did my stuff, he called me. He said, "Stand here." I said, "This young man, Nangulanda tuliwa kuchechi, uli wafyamba. How do you say such kind of things?" So shane ko Michael Jackson, and then he had a very amazing way of coming out. I mean, he was a father, so to say. I mean, he was a very gentle man. That people who never knew him at close would think he was a very rough, hard man. But when you get to know him close, you'll be amazed at the gentleness, the fatherliness that he had. I think Michael Sata was a very, very rare individual. People that takes more than 200 years for God to create another.
Find out how you feel about the coming of President George Bush in the country.
How do you feel yourself? How do you feel yourself? The question is yours also, because you are the people. We need to interact with lots of people. We need to interact with the world. We can't develop in isolation.
His humor was never far from his development agenda.
Comedy is an icebreaker. You know, we have had times when there's been a lot of tension in the nation. And you know, when there's tension at a particular moment, you cannot progress. Not even if maybe you're striking a conversation with somebody, if there's tension, you cannot progress with that conversation. But once there's an icebreaker, everything works out. So the president had that rare ability to crack jokes, break the ice, and make way for development and any other item. And look at the recent opening of Parliament. I mean, there was a lot of anxiety in the nation, there was a lot of uncertainty, but the man came to the fore, delivered his speech with a lot of humor in it. At the end of the day, everyone was relaxed, okay, and it was like a breath of fresh air. You know, he had a way of doing things that is very unique from other leaders.
What will comedians and performing arts in general remember President Michael Sata for?
What is important, first, is for us to give respect to the president who gave us the Ministry of Arts. That's the first thing. Secondly, is for us to celebrate the life of a president who managed to use comedy to communicate to the people. It's an encouragement to us that we can use our comedy to communicate effectively to the people.
You know, the impact I would tell you about is the art sector, especially the art sector. He's the only president that gave us a ministry. The others, Vale Tolole Shafi. Who gave us a ministry is President Sata. And he's one president that accommodated us artists.
Comedians and the public in general will surely miss President Michael Sata. He was a stand-up comedian in his own right.
We've lost a leader. We've lost a man that we looked up to, a man that had the key qualities that every stand-up comedian must have, the ability to walk on stage and deliver material even with a straight face.
That's one thing about him. He never planned to say, Apanga na yako parliament, I'm going to pick on so. If I go to this gathering, I'm going to pick on so. No, they came naturally. And many times, never offending. Many times, and that's what makes a good comedian. In fact, in survival president, me, I was even getting worried that I was at Pokanchito or comedy. I was looking forward. We were actually looking forward to a day when we're going to share a stage with him.